Open your eyes and look around. Open your eyes. Do you see the very things that you read about coming true? Don't you realize the moments are near? Correct yourself in your affairs. He has made it crystal clear. These are the signs of the time. Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers, new class, stay tuned. Signs of the times.
Okay, AWA, can y'all hear on YouTube or Facebook? Can y'all hear on the other platforms?
Yeah, it's a lag yet.
Okay, but can y'all hear?
We can now.
Yeah.
Okay. In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to my series entitled The Signs of the Last Hour. The Signs of the Last Hour. And before I go into these signs I'm going to cover today, I want to first of all let everyone know that all the signs that I am mentioning in this whole series are all authentic, and all of the sources, which that's why I use PowerPoint. If you will see in my PowerPoint, I always put the source, but the sources of all the hadiths that I use in this series are Bukhari and Muslim, because again, as a daya, and I am a daya, as a daya, you know, we have to make sure that we present that which is most authentic, because when we present the sources, the information that is most accurate, most authentic, that makes it harder for Shaitan and his allies to try to take you down. Instead, it'll just make the people hate you more, which that comes with the territory. That's a good thing. It's a good thing if people hate the fact that, my God, everything she says is backed up. You know, if you get comments from people like, wow, well, what she's saying is good, everything she's saying is true, but I don't want to hear nothing else. Long as what I'm saying is true, that's all that matters. The but. When you hear people say stuff like, well, what the sister is saying is true, but then they're getting ready to give you their opinion about how they're trying to find fault with what you say because they don't want to accept the truth. Okay, so that's all that matters. Long as everything that I'm presenting here is the truth, that's all you need to know. Take the but out of it. Okay, because if it's followed up with a but, that means that you getting ready to add your personal opinion or your personal dislike. And we're not here to entertain anybody's personal likes or personal dislikes. We're only here to entertain what Allah said and what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and what the understanding of those companions were about the signs of the last hour. I don't care about nobody else's. Okay? And you're going to see, guys, I'm covering right now because our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that every prophet that Allah sent, and from Adam to him, Allah gave them information of the signs of the last hour. And every prophet that Allah sent warned his people about the signs of the last hour. But no prophet went into more detail than our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. The Prophet Muhammad told us what would happen, what the minor and major signs will be from A to Z. And he also told us why these things would happen. And he also told us what to do if we live to see those things happen. Well, today I'm going to continue to go over the signs of the last hour as taught to us by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that lead up to the war against Islam, because that's where we are right now. Right now, all the minor signs exist, and the beginning of the major signs are here too. The next sign that will happen is the war against Islam. And as you guys can see, that's already started. What's going on in Gaza, what's going on in China, what's going on in Africa, what's going on in different parts of the world involving Muslim people. You know, that shows that the war against Islam has already started. But the full war, the war in which the United Nations will sign a charter declaring war against all the Islamic states, that's the next thing to happen. But it's already in the beginning as we speak. So we're going to go over these hadiths tonight. And then I'm going to tell you how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us we should behave. But remember, before I go into these hadiths tonight, Monday, when we talked about the trials before the war, the trials that lead up to the war, who can remember what did the Prophet Muhammad tell us to do? I mean, what did he tell us was the reason why? Why is it that we're at this state? What is it that's causing Allah to send the war to us? We got a lot of Muslims walking around right now as we speak, crying about Gaza, blaming the Zionists, blaming everyone but who they should blame. Okay? Thinking that man is in control, when it's not man that's in control. It's Allah that's in control. And Allah doesn't react. He doesn't send his punishment unless we cause it to happen. And that's what war is. War is a punishment. It's a punishment for most. Okay? It's a good way out for those who believe. But as Allah tells us, the believers will always be few in number. Most people will be unbelievers, even though they claim to be. But who can remember, why has Allah caused what is happening in the world today to happen? Who can tell me? Why is it that Gaza is under attack? Why is it that so many countries in Africa are under attack? Why is it that the Muslims in China are under attack? Why is it that the Muslims everywhere are under attack? Who can tell us? Why did Allah cause this to happen? Because he told us why. Who can tell us? Who remembers the hadith? What is the hadith that the Prophet gave us as to why Allah will cause these trials? Why Allah will cause these tribulations? Who can remember? See, if y'all remember the hadiths, then you wouldn't go around giving power to man. Anybody remember? If y'all don't remember, say no, I don't, so you don't waste my time. Nobody remembers why?
Is that the condition of the people?
I need somebody, whoever it is, talking to get on the mic. You're too soft. We can't hear you. In other words.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Now we hear you better. Go ahead.
I said that, is it because when Allah said that he won't change basically the condition that we're in, he won't change the condition, or least we change the condition of ourselves?
No. What is it that, that's talking about changing. No. Why has Allah sent war, guys? Good try though, but that's not correct. Why does
I'm just going to try to. From spreading the mischief all over the land, no one is stopping it. Enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. they're not speaking up or stopping when the mischief is coming?
That's one of the things, but that's not the main reason why. Remember the hadith that we talked about the other day? The prophet said that Allah said because of this, that's what will cause him to send war and every other trial. Because we will do this. What is it that we have done that has caused Allah to send this to us?
We abandoned the Sunnah.
Not that.
And we imitated the Kuffar. Not that one. Okay.
This is even more that results from doing this. What is it that we have done? Who can else remember the hadith? And it started after the murder of Uthman. It started after the murder of Uthman, and it's been going on since. We've been talking about it in the Zoom room today. My lecture at 6 o'clock. What's going on now? It's happening now. What is it? What is it that we have done that the prophet said that because we do it, Allah will cause this to happen? What is it?
Is it spreading corruptions?
What type of corruption? What do y'all mean? No. Y'all way off. Come on, Mina, y'all. Where's my regular students?
Speaking upon Allah without his knowledge?
No.
Having knowledge? No, okay.
Okay. I guess y'all don't remember. I want everybody to write this hadith down because that hadith Shaitan wants you all to not remember. I emphasized that hadith Monday over and over again, and none of y'all remember it. Shaitan doesn't want you to remember it. Allah has been showing y'all ever since I did that class on Monday. Y'all think about it. Ever since Monday, Allah has been bringing people in here in my streams all week to prove that he speaks the truth. And y'all don't remember what it is. The prophet said, when this happens, when we do this, know that there will be trial after trial. There will be war. There will be earthquakes. There will be all kind of destruction coming our way. Good job. Pamela's close to the answer. Pamela said, turning their backs on one another. Do y'all get, does it ring a bell now? Does that ring a bell with any of you in the Zoom room? Her answer is right. She just got, I would use better wording. Turning their backs on one another. What is it that the prophet said we will do that we were just talking about in our Zoom room an hour ago?
Division?
That's it. That's it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said after the murder of Uthman, you, my nation, will divide into different groups and different sets. And you will fight each other. You will kill each other. You will curse each other. When that happens, know that Allah will cause war and other tribulations to befall you. So that's the wording I want y'all to do. You remember, divide into different groups. Are we in different groups? What did y'all see today? What did Allah send into my stream at 6 o'clock today? Some man that calls himself part of the Ash'ari group. That's a group. That's a sect. Who else did we have in here today? The Shiite. That's another sect. Who was I under attack from yesterday? Daoud bin Bak. That's another sect. He's with the round table. Y'all see this? Allah has been showing you guys example after example after example of everything that I'm teaching in this class and in my 6 o'clock class. Y'all have to open up your minds to it. division. The prophet said, when you divide, when you Muslims divide and turn against each other, good job, Sakina, y'all turn against each other and start fighting each other and blaming each other. In other words, we deviate away from wala wal bara. There is no wala wal bara amongst us today. We are only showing allegiance to a particular group, when our allegiance is supposed to be to all Muslims. Y'all understand? Even with what's happening in the world with Gaza, you got famous speakers on YouTube with short videos out saying that, yeah, we know the Muslims are suffering in Africa, but my allegiance is to Gaza. That's division. That's separation. Wearing those flags that you Muslims are wearing. We don't wear flags because what do flags do? They separate us. We are one nation. We're not 100 nations. So when you people are walking around with those flags of Palestine on, you have divided, you have separated. The flag of Congo on, you have divided, you have separated. And that's the hadith we went over. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you, my nation, you will divide and you will separate into different groups and different sets. He said, when that happens, know that Allah will send his punishments in the form of war, in the form of earthquakes, tornadoes, all this stuff that's befalling us today. How is it that y'all forgot that hadith?
I didn't forget.
Yeah, you didn't, but everybody else did.
I did. It slipped me.
How could that slip you, Mina? And we were just talking about it in the Zoom room. Yeah, division. We're seeing it. So many groups. I don't even know. I can't even keep up with them. I can't even keep up with all these different groups. Exactly, Pamela. Ashari, Salafi. What's the other one that they was talking about? Oh, the Sufi. All these different sets, different groups. Then the Salafis got 29 sets. Then the Sufis got 50 sets. Then the Shiites, they even got different sets of the Shiites. Man, ain't nobody got time for this crazy stuff. That's why Allah has sent war. So what's happening in Gaza, it's not the Zionist fault. It's not the fault of anyone but us. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's our fault because we have allowed ourselves to divide. We have allowed ourselves to separate. We have broken away from the rope of Allah. We have broken away from that camaraderie. It began with the murder of Uthman. And what's the hadith that we talked about Monday too, where that spoke about our best time, the heyday? Can somebody mute that? Mute. Do mute, Fame. Can somebody tell me what is the hadith that spoke about the heyday of this nation and its end? Can you guys remember that? What's the hadith that spoke of the heyday or the best, the time when we will be at our best and when that will go downhill, when everything will crash after that? Can y'all remember that hadith? I'll give you a clue. It's the death of somebody. Anybody remember the hadith?
I think it was after the death of Ali.
No.
Or no, what? When Uthman was getting ready to fall, and the Prophet picked him up and said that at the death. Oh, let me stop. Okay.
Oh, my people. See,
It's after the death of Umar.
okay, tell me about it. See, Shaitan don't want y'all to remember this stuff because this stuff is important. Talk about it, family. What did the hadith say?
And the Prophet ﷺ said that our best time would be during the caliphate of Abu Bakr and the caliphate of Umar. And after the death of Umar, that's when the Muslims will divide and separate and kill each other. He said that there'll be a lot of war, a lot of division, and it will start with during the caliphate of Uthman.
Exactly. And what metaphor did the prophet use? What metaphor did he use for Umar? Can anybody remember that part of the hadith? He used exactly the door. Umar represented the door of Islam. The door, remember? And remember, Umar asked, how will that door be opened? Will it be opened up? And what was the answer, guys? Everything in Islam would go downhill when that door to Umar opened. Will the door open on its own? Or how will it open? Who can remember? That's important. That part of hadith is important. Go ahead.
I believe the door will be open. It will be open. It will be broken.
It'll be broken. Exactly. That's important. Nobody will open the door to division. Umar didn't open the door. They broke through it. The people will break through the door of Islam. They will bust through it to destroy it, not to open it up for anything good. Y'all understand? That's important. Because what the prophet was saying is Islam, that's the metaphor he used. Islam will always be at its best. It was at its best during the caliphate of Abu Bakr and Umar. They are the best of this nation. They will be the two people that will enter paradise after the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After the death of Umar, the door to the truth will be busted open, broken. Here will emerge people in their opinions. Here will emerge people with their own different ideologies that contradict the true Islam. And that's when those sects really got rampant. Because one thing about Umar, radiallahu anha, he didn't tolerate fitna. He ruled, and he ruled harshly, because he was all about protecting this deen and keeping it authentic. Uthman, may Allah be pleased with him, was the third best of this nation. He will be the third person to enter paradise after the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Uthman was not as rigid. When you're going to be in a position of leadership, you got to be rigid. And by the way, sisters, that's another reason why I have to be rough and tough. That's another reason why I have to be loud. I am a position of authority here because this is my website. I got a team that work with me. Jamali, Sheikh Morsi, Muhammad Saeed Atli, Dr. Ali Shahada, Dr. Asim Al-Bumati. They're all part of my team. But whose website is it? This is Layla's property. You can't take a woman's property from her. This is my property. So since it's my property, I have to be rough and tough to protect it. A weak person protecting something is going to lose it. And that's what happened. Umar was tough. Abu Bakr was tough. Uthman was tough too. but he was a little bit more lenient with the people. Okay? And that's when everything started going downhill after the death of Umar, after that door was broken. And the rest of that hadith, it will never be closed again. What does that part of the hadith mean? When the Prophet ﷺ said, once that door has been broken, it will never be closed again. What does that part of the hadith mean? Common sense, people. Come on. Common sense. Okay, it will never be closed again means we'll just go downhill from there. That's when the fitna will begin and everything will go downhill. As the Prophet said, each generation of Muslims will become worse than the previous one. The religion of Islam and its truthfulness will go down, down, down. Truthfulness will become forgotten. Strangeness will appear. Islam will become strange. So that's what that part of the hadith meant. The door will never be closed. That's it. So our heyday, the best of us, was in the beginning. When the Prophet was here, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when all the original companions was here, that's when we as Muslims were at our best. That's why the Prophet said of those 70,000 people, see how everything connects. Of those 70,000 people that will enter paradise without being held accountable, the majority of them will come from the early generation of Muslims. Now do y'all see why that hadith makes sense? Very few of us from the last, because Islam the people become worse and worse and further and further and further away from true Islam. So now do you people understand that? That's why I tell you guys, it's an arrogant person. If you got a person walking around here calling himself the Mufti, and then he's telling you that he's going to be of those 70,000, he's an arrogant, pompous person. Number one, the companions would never call themselves Mufti. Mufti is a term in Arabic of arrogance. It's arrogance. No believer would use that name. And the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he were living and if he were to ask you, what's your name? And you told him your name was Mufti, he would change your name. Why? Because he said, don't name yourself names that would be hard for you to live up to. What's the source, Sahih Bukhari? But we got a lot of brothers here calling themselves Mufti. They're arrogant. They're pompous. And those same brothers got the nerve to think that they are of the 70,000 that will enter paradise without being held accountable. Brother, you going to hit rock bottom. You going to be right there at the bottom. Subhanallah. So that's what we talked about Monday. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us the reason. He gave us the reason why Allah would send all these trials, all these wars. So you want to ask, why is the war happening in Gaza? It ain't got nothing to do with the Zionists. The Zionists are the puppets. All of us, we are all puppets of Allah. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Do I mean that Allah's inside your body controlling you? Like the Mu'tazila believe? No. What I mean is we are only doing what Allah already said we would do. That's what I mean by puppet. Look it up in a dictionary. Okay? Allah is the one that brought this war. And he said in that authentic hadith, because you have divided, because you will divide into so many different groups, and you will be so against each other. You will be cursing each other, fighting each other. That's why. Y'all understand that? So now let's look at the hadiths that can continue. Again, these are some more hadiths I'm going to go over today that again lead up to what's happening today, the war. So let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. And by the way, have me on your big screen TV for your children. Shots for the kids. Let me put this up. I'm ready to do the PowerPoint. Hold on. Okay. Okay, this is Signs of the Last Hour. Yeah, I threw this PowerPoint together real quick. So hold on. But it's there. I did it. Y'all don't ask me how I got that PowerPoint together, but I did. And by the way, if Brother Malik comes in, tell him to just wait because we had another rough start. Oh, did I share the screen with you guys? In Zoom, can y'all see the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Okay, I did share it with them. It's not these people. I didn't. Okay, let me put it on the people on YouTube. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I hit a button. Oh, that's a button I didn't know they had on here. Oh, that's a weird button. Okay, well, you guys can see it, inshallah. And let me put it here. Oh, I didn't put the... Okay, well, I'll put it on the thing. Okay, tonight we're going to continue discussing the trials and the tribulations that will befall us as a result of our division. And because of this, it's what's going to lead up to the war against Islam. And again, the sources of all these hadiths are Bukhari and Muslim, and I do put the sources there for you. So let's go get started. And let's start off with this hadith here. This hadith is also found in the other sitta too. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, listen to this and don't forget this hadith, students. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this is the hadith that I went over Monday with you guys. And I'm going to start, I ended my class Monday with this hadith. I put it here today because these people are the people that's been attacking my stream. These are the people that have been attacking my stream yesterday, today, with the bin back guy, all of these people, the Sharis, all that today. Let's begin with this hadith, and y'all can see that Allah always speaks the truth. The Prophet said there will be differences and divisions amongst my nation. There will be people who will speak well, but behave badly. Now, for you sisters, let me address my sisters here. My sisters who like to have these podcasts where you sisters are sitting with the men. Y'all at the tables and poles and stuff with the men. Conferences. You sisters speak very well. Your voices are soft. Okay? Your diction is eloquent. Your diction is soothing. You don't yell. You're soft. So soft that you got to have a microphone put up close to you. These are people who will speak well. But look at how you women are dressed. You're standing there on a stage with your breasts showing. You behave badly. You have a hijab on, but The law commands the believing woman to draw veils over her bosom, not sit there with a belt on in your abaya, showcasing your breasts. You're sitting there at the table with a bunch of men who are looking at you, Google-eyeing you in your beautiful clothing, and you're sitting there posed with your breast sticking out. The shape of your legs can be seen. Moving your hands, making gestures with your tongue and your lips. Does this hadith not apply to you women? You women of the table? There will be people who speak well, but behave badly. Not only that, but many of you women shake hands. Not only are you sitting at the table with the men, laughing, talking, eating together, but y'all shaking hands. Some of you, and y'all know I'm telling the truth, some of y'all are doing footsies with each other underneath the table. Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Hashtag talk about it. You're sitting underneath the table with your feet doing footsies with the man across from you. Oh yeah. And let's not talk about what goes on behind closed doors in a lot of those offices. Hello. I'm being real. Layla keeping it real. There will be differences and divisions amongst my nation. The people will speak well, but behave badly. And let's talk about the men that you are at the table with. They will recite the Quran, but it will not go any deeper than their collarbone. What does that mean? These brothers that you sisters are showcasing with, who can recite the Quran by heart. Oh, they memorized the Quran, those brothers did. They don't know the hadith, evidently, but they do know how to sing the Quran beautifully. As the prophet said, they will pass through the religion like an arrow passes through its prey, and they will not come back until the arrow comes back to the bow. Hello! The prophet said they will be the most evil of people, and they will have the nerve to call people to Islam, just like you sisters and brothers are doing in y'all's conferences. Oh yeah, let's talk about them. Hashtag talk about it. All these conferences we have all over America, ICNA, ISNA, MSA conference, and I don't mean Muhammad Saeed Atlee, because y'all know one thing about Muhammad Saeed Atlee, he don't play that. Homie don't play that. He'll tell you women, go home. Wait for your husbands. So I ain't talking about MSA, Muhammad S. Atlee. I'm talking about MSA, Muslim Student Associations. Y'all sit there and intermingle, perfume, makeup, breast showing, the men prancing up and down, showing the front of their pants. Oh yeah, we can talk about it. They will call people to the book. This is supposed to be an Islamic conference. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the war in Gaza. We're going to talk about how, as Muslims, we should become better united. We're going to talk about how we need to do more in our communities. But like the prophet said, they will call to the book of Allah, but they won't have anything to do with it. In other words, you talk. Talk is cheap. You're talking about how we need to unite, but you don't care about uniting. All you care about is uniting with those who believe like you. You're going to go home and attack the other Muslims that don't believe what you believe. You're going to attack those sisters who are following the Sunnah with their loud voices, who ain't going to allow you or any other man to sit at a table with them and play footsie. Hello? Oh yeah, I'm keeping it real. The prophet said those people who fight against these people, who oppose these people, are closer to Allah than those people are. And one of the signs, here it is again, sisters. One of the signs of who these people are, they will all shave their heads. Hello? How many of you brothers with all this Ashari stuff and slander stuff and kafir stuff and upon Akosuma wa Jama, you got bald heads. Not because your hair fell out, because you choose to shave it. You fit the bill. Y'all better look at yourselves. Look at this. Look at this, women. You women who speak well, but you behave like prostitutes. Because that's what you sisters are doing, dressing up like that, sitting at the table with men, sitting up on talk shows with men, at conferences with men, side by side, taking pictures together. You're prostituting yourself. You're just a prostitute. You're giving the men what they want. You're a spectacle for them because you ain't talking about Islam. I don't see none of you sisters running down La ilaha illallah, not like Layla. And none of you don't know nothing about the hadiths. But you can talk about relationships. You can talk about women and men relationships. That's a prostitute in my way of thinking. Y'all see that? These are the worst of the creation, the most evil of people. The women prostituting themselves in the name of Allah, astaghfirullah. And you men with the shaved heads, killing each other, slandering people because they don't agree with your twisted, watered down ideology. Hello, that's why we got Gaza. Okay? And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared this hadith with the companions, many of them tried to find out, what type of tribulations will Allah send as a result? So they could try to, prevent it from happening to them. And one of the companions, Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, he tells us, I am the most knowledgeable of people about the tribulations that will come between my time and the last hour. He said, one day I asked the Prophet, I said, "O Prophet of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we were in ignorance and evil." In other words, before Islam, we didn't believe in Allah. We were warriors. We were fighting and doing all kind of crazy stuff. But then Allah introduced us to Islam. And now we're good. He said, will there be any evil after this good? The Prophet said, yes, there will be. So I asked him, well, after that evil, will there come back any good? The Prophet said, yes. There will become some good, but it will be tainted with a little evil. And I asked him, what will the little evil be? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I want y'all to pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. He said, there will be people who will guide others to something other than my guidance. You will approve of some of their actions and you will disapprove of others. So I asked him, will there be any evil after that? He said, yes, there will appear people who will be calling you to the gates of hell. And whoever responds to their call will be thrown into it. So I said, O prophet of Allah, describe these people to me. So in case I live to see it, I'll know who they are. Pay attention. The prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said they will be from us and they will speak our language. What does that mean? They will be Arabs. Arabs. Let me stop right here and break this hadith down. Don't get it twisted. Hashtag. Islam has been in America ever since Allah allowed the slaves to come here. That ain't no mystery. Many of the slaves that were brought to America were from the Muslim African lands. They were beaten, stripped, deprived of their belief. Okay? Some were able to manage to keep their belief, but only a few. Then let's fast forward to the 1960s, the time of the civil rights era here in America, which wasn't that long ago. It was just 60-something years ago. There emerged the Malcolm X. Malcolm X, who learned the true Islam when he made Hajj. And when he came back to America, he shared that truth. And then he was executed. Not executed, he was assassinated 3 months later. What happened? Allah sent some good. Right after he was killed, King Faisal sent some Arabs here. Some Arabs here to teach the people is to continue the mission of Islam in its truthfulness. One of those men was Muhammad Saeed Atlee, for those of you who don't know. Oh yeah, Atlee's been around. Oh yeah, my stepfather knew him. He was good friends with Mukhtar's father, my Imam Mutawif, Darul Islam. Hello. There was another good sheikh, Imam Tawfiq. I was such a little girl. I remember meeting Imam Tawfiq when he came to the mosque. You know, he was a good man. May Allah forgive him of his sins. He wasn't Arab. He was African American. But I remember Imam Tawfiq. I was so young. Handsome man. Good friends with Mukhtar's father, my Imam, and my stepfather, Yahya. Alhamdulillah. So, Islam got good here in America. The 60s, the 70s, it was all about calling to Allah. Then in the 80s, I think it was in the 80s when the Arabs really started trying to get involved. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm fast forwarding a lot of this. The 80s, the 90s brought the Arabs coming in here, and the 2000s. Wow, Islam was messed up here in America because the Arabs brought these different ideologies, the Salafism, the thisism, the thatism, the da. Oh my God. People were going to Medina. I'm going to keep it real. African Americans were going to the University of Medina to learn Islam, and they were coming back here with this extreme, radical Salafism. It was crazy. The 2000s, the Muslims began to divide. They began to fight. Even the old main Sheikh Atlee got ousted. Oh, yeah. They even ousted. They ousted Sheikh Atlee. Okay? Oh, yeah. The Arabs slandered him. Y'all don't know that. Oh, I can tell y'all because I married Sheikh Ali. Oh, I became one of his wives. Okay? He got slandered. He got slandered by his own students, many of them. His own students turned against him, all because they were following these Arabs. Like the prophet said, they will be of us. They will speak our language. They will be calling you to the gates of hell. And that's what happened. That's when all the fitna began up again here. It was good for a minute with Malcolm X. After his death, it got bad. Then it got good again. Then it's been bad, and it's been downhill ever since here in America. Now we got the Asharis, we've always had the Mutazilite, the Kharijites, and oh my God, it's just ridiculous. So y'all pay attention. You got Muslims thinking that they can't get to paradise because they're not Arab. I am a female daya. A lot of my students come to me and say, Sister Laila, why come I can't go to paradise because I'm not Arab? I'm like, what are you talking about? Who told you that? Some Arab told them that. Some Arab told them that because they don't speak Arabic and because they're black, they won't get into paradise. How many of you were told because you black that Arabic is the language of paradise? None of that crap is true. These are the callers to the gates of hell who will speak our language, who will come from where I'm from, who will call you to something and guide you to something other than what I came with. The Prophet Muhammad never told anybody you got to be an Arab or speak Arabic. The only Arabic, by the way, the only Arabic that any Muslim on this planet has to speak is the Fatiha. And I'm telling you the truth, and there is no scholar, true scholar, who will refute me. The only Arabic that any human being has to learn is Al-Fatiha. That's it. So anyway, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described these people, Hudayfa said, well, what do you tell me to do if they should happen in my lifetime? Pay attention. The Prophet said, if you live to see these people who look like us, speak our language, calling to the gates of hell, he said, you stick to the majority of the Muslims and their leader and don't listen to them. And then Hudayfa said, then what if there is no majority? What if there is no imam, no leader over the Muslims? The Prophet said, if there is no majority, and if there is no leader over the Muslims, then you stay away from all those groups. Every single one. Even if it means you have to bite onto the root of a tree until death overtakes you. I dropped the mic. Y'all see this? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is speaking about this day. We don't have a caliph. When he says leader over the Muslims, he's talking about a caliph. There is no caliph, and we will not have one until the Mahdi comes. So, since we don't have a leader over all the Muslims, and we do see all this division, there is no major group. Because the Muslims today are all divided. Either you're Mutazila or you're Kharijite. Okay? So what do? The Prophet said, stay away from them all. Don't go near any of them. And that's the same thing I teach y'all as a daya. Like I told that brother that came in my stream today, talking that Ashari stuff. Speaking against Kareem. What did I tell him? I'm Laila Nasheeba. I believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and I'm upon the same belief system as Aisha radiyallahu anha. That's what I believe. Look at me like you would look at Aisha. And keep it moving. Don't put me in your group. Don't put me in your sect. And don't try to pull me into that crap. Because the prophet told us to stay away from them all. I got nothing to do with your round table. I got nothing to do with your polls. I have nothing to do with any of that stuff, people. I do my daya right here in my bedroom on the internet, like Allah commands me. I don't go to no events. I don't participate in that bull crap. I stay here teaching the true Islam. Don't include me in your crap. That's what the prophet told us to do. Stay away from them all. What are you, Layla? I'm a Muslim who believes La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, and I practice the way them companions did. My mentor, her name is Aisha radiyallahu anha. So jump back, poppy cat. I ain't like none of these women today. Ain't none of these women like Layla. I'm an original. I walk to the beat of those companions. That's it. I ain't with nobody else. And I'm an independent woman. Hello. Y'all got it? Y'all see the dalil? Also, so we have another hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also told the companions that when the imam, meaning the caliph, when the caliph is present, like Ali radiyallahu anha, like Uthman, he said, obey your leader and don't rebel against him. And he also told the companions to follow the way of the caliphs, the first four leaders that come after him. Listen at this hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam preached and gave us a far-reaching lesson, which filled our eyes with tears and made our hearts tremble. We said, "O Prophet of Allah, this is the lesson of a person who is getting ready to leave." This is right before the Prophet died. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "I have left you on a clear and bright path whose night is as its day." In other words, everything is clear. In Islam, the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined for us, guys. You Muslims shouldn't be arguing over whether or not a woman can wear cover her face or not. Because the lawful and unlawful has been clearly defined. There's a clear verse. If something is haram, there would be a clear verse saying it is. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "I've left you on this clear and bright path. No one will deviate from it after I am gone who will not be doomed." So here he's telling any one of you who leaves the path that I came with, you will be doomed. He said, "Whoever amongst you lives after me, you will live to see great division amongst the Muslims." He said, "I urge you to stick to my sunnah and stick to the way of the rightly guided caliphs after me." He was talking about Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. He said, "Cling stubbornly to this way and obey those in authority." He's talking about the caliph. Even if your ruler is an Abyssinian slave, because the believer is like an easygoing camel, which goes wherever it is led. Talking about us. You know, we'll follow people. Why is it that there'll be more women in hell than men? Because the prophet said one of the reasons is because women will follow a wayward man to hell and back. based on looks, based on how good he looked. That's why a lot of you sisters at the table are hitting them poles, because y'all duped by the looks of these men and their soft voices, and they lead you down a path other than what the prophet came with. So here we can see, guys, traditional Islam. The traditional Islam is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought, with the understanding of those original companions, not the men of today, not the fatwa makers of today. And not only this, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us how to deal with the trials. If we live to see all this division, we live to see all this Islam distortion, he told us how to deal with it. He told us, even though we live to see all of this stuff, avoid fighting with each other. Don't get involved in the conflict. Separate yourself from that. That's what I was telling those brothers today. Don't put me in your garbage. I am a Muslim woman at home, in my bedroom, teaching the people the true Islam. Don't involve me in your fitna. Don't involve me in your kafir calling debates. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, yeah. Somebody mute that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there will be tribulations, and then there will be a tribulation in which the one who is sitting will be better than the one who is walking, and the one who is walking will be better than the one who is striving. When this happens, let the person who has camels go and take care of his camel, and the one that has sheep take his sheep and go someplace and isolate yourself away. Why is it that we find a lot of Muslims? I have about 3 women in my Zoom room. They've decided to go out into the country. They got their own cows, their own sheep. Their husbands chose to take them away from all the fitna of the mosque. There's so much fitna in the masajids. Muslims are fighting with each other, cursing each other, kafir calling each other. You got the haram police. You can't even go to the mosque to pray without some woman in your face telling you that you going to hell because you got on fingernail polish. Ain't nobody got time for this stuff. So it's best to just go away and just isolate yourself. Don't get involved in the fights. Don't get involved in the debates. The brothers have to go to the mosque to pray. But I tell you, sisters, you don't have to. I tell my new shahadas, they're going to run you away. So you can stay here and learn your deen right here from me. Because I'm teaching you what they ain't going to teach you anyway. And don't be a part of that fitna. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us this, one person said, "Oh Prophet, what do you think if I am forced to join sides, or I am forced to join one of the groups, and a person hits me with a sword or an arrow kills me?" The Prophet said, "Then whoever killed you will carry not only his sin and yours too, and he will be of the people of hell." How many people were killed inside the mosques during the month of Ramadan? An imam was killed right outside of his mosque. These days are here. They're happening. And it happened then. By the way, guys, the Prophet was speaking about the civil war that happened with the companions when the companions fought against each other. That's an example of one of the signs in the last hour that occurred and is still occurring. Because we're still killing each other. We're still fighting against each other based on our own misinterpretation. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one of the signs will be that the best wealth that a Muslim may have is his sheep, that he can take to the mountain to get away from the tribulations. This was the civil war that happened with the companions. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said tribulations like patches of black night will soon befall you, which it did after they murdered after the murder of Uthman. He said the people who will be most safe will be the ones who live in a high place and eats what his sheep produces. These hadiths already happened. Remember, he said the fitna will begin after the murder of Uthman. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made all these predictions to us that Allah had given him to give to us, to share with us. And then the Prophet taught us how to deal with it. For example, he told Abu Dar, he said, what do you think if the people start killing each other to the point where Medina is filled with blood? What do you think you should do? Stay in your house? That's what the Prophet told Abu Dar. He said, when you Muslims divide and begin to fight each other, you should stay in your house and lock the door. In other words, don't join it. And Abu Dar asked him, well, should I take my weapon with me? The Prophet said, you will, if you take your weapon with you, you'll be participating in it. Okay, so again, these hadiths happened when the companions fought each other, but they're back happening today because we have divided. We are not upon Siratul Mustaqim, the straight path. We're not practicing or living the traditional Islam. We're following fatwa. We're following certain schools of thoughts. We're following certain imams, certain scholars, anybody that speaks differently than us, anyone whose belief system is different than ours. We're quick to call them a kafir. And like the Prophet said in another hadith, we're going to talk about next week, whenever you call another Muslim a kafir, it's the same as if you've killed him. So how many Muslims have you brothers killed lately? For you brothers that came into my stream today, calling Kareem Abu Zaid out of his name, how many people have you killed today with your twisted tongue? For you sisters and brothers that call me out of my name, how many people have you killed with your tongues today? So those are the signs of the last hour that I wanted to go over today. And again, when you read these hadiths and you ponder the true meaning of them, you see, guys, we don't blame nobody but ourselves. The atrocities that's affecting the Muslims today, it's not the Israelis' fault. It's not the Kafirs' fault. It's our fault. We brought all this on ourselves. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, I want everybody to remember, don't forget tomorrow is Thursday. We have Dr. McBride. He will be here at 6 o'clock to discuss his book. And his class will be great for the new Muslims here. He's going to speak about contemporary issues that impact the Muslims today, how so many Muslims are so twisted in their belief system. A lot of people convert to Islam and they're confused. They bring into Islam a lot of the beliefs from Christianity. Well, he's going to speak about that and try to set you guys right tomorrow, inshallah. Okay, so make sure everybody is here for that. His class will be at 6. My class will be after his at 7. And then at 9 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, you will have my class on enjoining good and forbidding evil. All right? Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa